tee shot. He did it! Hi everybody, welcome to the channel. Today's video is a special video. We're going to be talking golf swing, we're going to be talking swing mechanics, and I'm joined by George Blackshaw, and he's going to be talking you through his golf swing. So if you're not familiar with George's story, check out his Instagram handle.
Yep.
I don't know what I was going to say then. Page? I don't know. It's the Amputee Golfer.
Yep.
And he's also on TikTok. He does like dances and stuff as well. Yeah. So George, obviously a unique story, kind of inspirational story to a lot of golfers that kind of follow your page. Talk me through your golf swing. What do you mentioned before you get golf lessons?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. So
Yeah.
Ben, shout out to Ben Stanier.
My swing has evolved over the years, obviously, and I've felt as I've got stronger, as I've got older and gone to the gym and stuff, it's got a lot easier to gain more power and stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously with the one leg as well, I feel like at times I can get stuck in the golf swing, so that's what I've mainly been working on really.
We were kind of talking about George's swing on an earlier tee, so we're kind of mentioning you can't take the club on the inside because it's obviously easier to do so. But what he does fantastically well is kind of steepens the shaft up on the way down, because if he'd have come back into the golf ball the same way you took the club away, you'd hit the ground first, or if you didn't hit the ground first, you wouldn't get that compressed strike, or maybe even you'd get a push out towards the right hand side. So what he does fantastically well is kind of steepens up the downswing in comparison to the backswing. And we kind of mentioned that a lot of amateur golfers actually have this, but more of as an issue. What you've done is made it like awesome, like a single figure golfer. And actually when you look at the golf swing in detail, you're not over the top, out to in, slicey. It is technically what I would say over the top relative to how you went back. But relative to the golf ball is really nicely on plane. So he's going to hit a golf shot for us now. He's going to bomb a drive, and we're going to talk through the movements as well. Okay, so looking through the analysis of George's golf swing, I'm going to be using the Skillest app, what I use for coaching on a daily basis, and it allows us to kind of draw some lines and get really visual with some of the areas of George's golf swing as we roll through. Now, his posture, like every golf swing, is massively important, making sure that he's got a good spine tilt at setup. Therefore, it's a position that he's able to then control and stay in during the golf swing, and that's important for quality of rotation, but also the positioning of the club as he starts to go back. Now, the very first movement, the way we spoke about this, he does get the club on the inside. I don't think he gets the club too much on the inside at all, because of the fact he's using one arm just to be able to stabilize the club. That's the most kind of obvious place to put the club. If he tries to kind of get the club kind of parallel to the feet at this point and starts trying to work the club up higher here, all that's going to do is just going to feel really heavy in the hands, and it's going to be very difficult to control the rotation of the body whilst the arms are kind of working upwards. It's better for a backswing in this position just to kind of allow the arms to follow the path of the shoulders and the hips, so everything's working together. Therefore the club will naturally feel a lot lighter as well. As he gets into his transition, so if we draw a line between takeaway and the similar position on the downswing, as he gets into that transition, he steepens it up, and he steepens it up into basically what is an absolutely fantastic position. That is a perfectly neutral looking position. He's got his left hand underneath his left shoulder, so that's a great position that we look into for all golfers. And the angle of the club head is nice and neutral as well. So positionally, really happy with where that's going to be. Club's delivering to a neutral position on the way down. As you can start to see now, he's really starting to activate the lower body. So he's starting to fire through the hips first. He's starting from the ground up. He's using the flexibility through his left ankle, his left knee, his left hip to get that clearance and get that rotation through, because it'll spiral from there really. So once he's got the lower body working, he will then be able to work the shoulders, work the chest, and the last thing that comes into the golf ball then will be the arm and the club. So as he's rotating through, fantastic looking position there just pre-impact. Shaft of the club now gets pretty much parallel to target line, or does get parallel to target line. Lower body now is pointing left of the golf ball as he's about to strike it. So the lower body is much more ahead of the golf ball and much even further ahead of his upper body. So that's what's going to give him the speed and the power through the ball. Again, how impressive the stabilization of the club face is as he's approaching the golf ball is one of the key factors for me. It's one thing that I mentioned to him really early on in our round is it's just amazing how you can keep the face so square throughout the whole golf swing, and just using the bigger muscles, using the upper body of the shoulders, using his core stability, using his core strength, and using his hips to kind of just guide the club through the impact area, allowing the club face to stay square through the grip and the stability in the left arm. And then from that position, look how well he stabilized the face through impact, and then everything kind of works to the target line and up much more vertically on the way through. What you'll see with the driver in particular is that the left foot will start to kind of step away to the left hand side, and that is generally more down to the fact he's just trying to get a lot more power in. He's allowing the hips to rotate, he's allowing the chest to rotate, and that's just a bit of a balance as he comes through impact. And that's kind of George's very kind of well-known follow through position. It's basically all thought out. It's not an imbalance, it's not a position he's trying to stop doing. He's allowing the lower body to work really fast, to work really strong through the ball, and therefore guide the club face nice and square through impact as well. So swing path on the way down is exceptional, and that is why he is a 7 handicap golfer and on the UK disability national team. What's your kind of swing thought? Have you got anything? Have you got like a couple of swing thoughts that you try and?
Yeah, so I mean, like you say, I have a tendency of coming too around my body, which, I mean, compared to everyone else, I probably do come around my body.
Yeah.
But I just try and limit how I do try and steepen it as much as I can on the back swing. And like you said before, I get into a relatively good position of getting into like a good lock on the way down. So I try and feel on my practice swing. Actually, I normally try and feel just getting into that position there.
Yeah.
And feeling my club coming through. And yeah, like I say, with my leg as well, you know, sometimes I come down and I stop here because I can't get my ankle through.
Yeah.
So I'm always focused on trying to get those hips through.
Yeah.
And turning and facing to the
getting your kind of body out towards the target. It's kind of more from like the hip. The hip movement. Like really force them round to the left as you come through.
I always almost feel like I'm just like not uncontrollably launching them forward, but just getting them like through.
Speed, isn't it? Trying to use the speed, because the speed is going to have a massive impact on obviously club head speed, which gives you distance.
Yeah.
Got to give this one a rip for us.
See what I can do.
Love it.
Felt like I got slightly stuck there with my back leg actually.
So you said you feel like you got stuck.
Yeah.
For how did you feel like you got stuck? You kind of got stuck into impact here.
Yeah, it was more just the impact. I felt with that right leg just got slightly stuck, and I mean it wasn't a bad strike, but
good.
I'm being very critical of myself. But I just felt it as soon as I got there. Didn't get that hip slightly through, and probably lost a slight bit of distance on it.
So we were talking before about when he kind of uses the lower body and the left foot kind of steps to the side. So what he's doing there, he's not just kind of moving the foot out of the way, he's actually really using power from here, which is then obviously encouraging the left foot movement, isn't it? So that kind of gives you that freedom as well into post impact. Yeah. Because if you kind of try and keep that left leg solid through the shot, you're kind of going to be stuck here, which realistically, I think over the course of a round of golf, is probably going to leave the club face open as well, isn't it? Yeah. So one of the things that kind of impresses me the most is how well you control the club face. Yeah. Because you do go inside, but you absolutely do not go too much inside. You go inside in a really kind of purposeful and controlled manner, and then you steepen it up on the way down to get such good ball striking. But how are you conscious then of keeping that face as square as possible to the target? Is there anything you try and do? Do you try and feel like you release it more? Do you try and feel like what's your feel?
Yeah, I do feel like I always try and feel like, same with my leg actually, and hips, feel like kind of throwing it forward a bit like that. Yeah.
So it kind of comes from body rotation then?
Yeah, body rotation, definitely.
Okay, I like that, good.
Yeah.
So again, that's kind of very similar to what a lot we kind of coach is, as you're coming through impact, rather than just trying to guess the club face by flipping your hands and hoping for the best. You're kind of using you're using the bigger muscles. So you're using your left hip to help your body clear, and you're kind of using your left shoulder to square to kind of keep the face square as well. And that's where, again, you're a single figure golfer. That's where you've got your consistency. If he kind of stayed here and thought, okay, I'm going to keep my left leg as stable as possible and release the club face, I would say you'd be a lot more inconsistent, probably on strike anyway. But in terms of club face as well, because that face can only have a couple of degrees either side to move. And it's you're looking at your 2-way miss.
As soon as I feel like I'm not using my body to get through the shot, that's when I'll miss it way right. And I'll lose quite a bit of distance on it as well.
So would you say then your only swing thought overall is just basically halfway down the downswing, clear and clear, clear left side, clear right, clear left, clear left shoulder, clear left hip, and then just rip it. Go on, give us one more then.
And also on my posture as well, I make sure that I get not too upright. I get into a bad habit of that, so make sure I get relatively low so I can sort of use those legs as a launch.
Good.
Because if I'm upright, you can't really launch it, can you? So
that's a lesson that every golfer should take, is like posture. If you can stay in your posture position during your swing, if you can start in a good position, stay in it, then you're able to use your hips a lot more powerfully. As soon as you lose posture, then you've kind of lost your lower body as well. Oh yes, love it.
Got a hold of that one.
You've ripped that one. Oh. Look at that. That's so good. Right, George, absolute legend. Thank you very much for talking us through your golf swing. Guys, comment below. There's loads of things that you can learn from this. I think so many golfers get so caught up on kind of swinging it over the top, hitting this. Like, at the end of the day, where your downswing is relative to the golf ball and where your club face is relative to target, you can control those two. You get good at golf. Simple as that, isn't it? Guys, thanks for watching. Go and follow George on his social media platforms. And from a fantastic Belfry golf course, thank you very much for having us. I'll see you again very soon.